Hello everyone and welcome to Searching for Players. As always, I am David, Player 1, and joining me as almost always is Alex,
Player 3.
Let's get right into it. This is our PlayStation Sony Conference E3 2018, sort of our wrap-up, our impressions, our summary. We did Xbox yesterday. We literally just finished watching it.
Yeah. We're still in
Still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Status. I mean, good stuff, but
roller coaster ride.
the first 15 minutes was brutal.
So
Minus
it started with what's his name? I'm again
Sean Layden.
Sean Layden came out and talked to the crowd and basically was really trying to temper everyone's expectations.
Yeah, it was like
he
one
said,
of those
we've got
things
these 4 games
where it's like he was trying to break up with you, but like he's trying to give you the hints, like, hey, if you need to go get,
right,
like, if you got stuff to do, go do it.
Right. So he's definitely trying to set the bar low. It's kind of weird. Then we opened up. They were in like this church setting. The audience was in this very long church.
To play the holiest game out there.
Right. So then, because then it switched, I guess there was a live like banjo player on the little stage there. That went on for like a minute of just him
great
playing.
song, but
yeah, it was kind of cool, but it probably would have been better if you were there watching it. We're like, where's the gameplay? You think it's going to be behind what he's doing. No, it was just him playing for a little bit. So then, of course, the game finally kicks on. It's their first of the 4 games they're focused on. The Last of Us 2.
Part 2.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things. It was sort of a cutscene, but I think it was all in engine.
Yeah.
Characters talking. They're like at a dance, almost like a barn-style dance. Obviously, like survivors and the,
Then it got into gameplay.
Went into gameplay. Looked really good.
Gameplay was good.
You're playing as Ellie. Is that her name?
Yeah,
Ellie.
There was no Joel.
Yeah, no sign of Joel
to be found.
In the cutscene part, they do reference a character that was being on their case about something. It may have been him they were talking about.
I think so.
But it looked good, and it was solo.
A lot of new characters still.
Yep, introducing some new characters. But it was the gameplay was similar to Last of Us, the first one, where it was some of that sneaking, getting the drop on them.
But it was all humans.
It was all humans. We saw none of the...
Infected.
Yeah, infected. I was going to say zombies, but they're not really zombies.
They're not. They're fun guys.
Right. Yes.
Get it?
And it, like you said, it looked good. Good combat. Good like little stealth running around.
Great way to start the conference.
Yeah, very violent. So
yes, yeah.
And then it ended sort of contrasting the peacefulness of the dance with the violence that she was being involved in. Because then it went back to the dance at the end or whatever.
Yeah, it was great. Still no release date though.
Yeah, no release date. Didn't even give like a 2019 or anything.
Correct.
I'm still hyped for that game. I really like the first one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So they kind of open up with a bang.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we go back outside to some of the other guys sitting at one of those desks, and they basically said,
us.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. And all of a sudden, they're like, we're going to take a little break now.
Yeah.
And we're just going to kind of vamp here for a little while and talk about stuff.
It was
just weird. It's like it cut the energy, it cut the momentum right out from under this press conference.
It was the awkwardest 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah, they were just killing time, essentially. They had a few small announcements. But they said God of War was getting a new game plus, but that's all they said. They just said it was coming.
Yeah.
No dates or anything. I think they showed a little teaser trailer for COD, which revealed COD, Call of Duty. I'm calling it COD. Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yes.
Is free with PS Plus this month,
and it will have maps from.
And they're adding maps from the original Black Ops,
both the second one
to both. From both to 3 and 4. So. That's cool.
Yeah.
But again, it was kind of a random,
It was odd placement. It was weird. It was about 10 minutes where they were they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It was very un-Sony-like for the
Yeah.
last couple of conferences. Normally, they're they just shut up and we have games.
Right.
Even if, Microsoft did this year. They're
right.
we got games. Here you go.
And we
This was weird.
At the end, we were looking online trying to figure out what they were doing. I guess all the people that were in this, church, all the live audience people, they were then moving them to the final, actual, sort of domed auditorium where the final stuff was being, the rest of the show was going to take place. And to get there, they were moving them through rooms themed to each of these 4 main games they were showing. So I guess, again, that was cool if you were there. but it's like it just put the whole thing on hold for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they could have shown something, though. It just completely killed any momentum.
Yeah.
Like, after seeing that, I was hyped.
Yeah.
And then I was wondering,
I had some friends texting me going, "What's going on?" Because they got to they got into the press conference. They missed The Last of Us, so they just jumped in, and all of a sudden it's just people sitting around talking at a desk.
Bad move.
Yeah,
I got docked 2 points just for that.
And then they threw in. They talked about Days Gone a little bit, and
the games that they announced, that was kind of the pre-show.
Right. They showed like a little montage thing that talked about Tetris Effect and Beat Saber and Days Gone release date and that sort of thing. The stuff they'd been announcing this week.
Things we've already seen, though.
But again,
it was the exact same trailer.
Killing time.
Yeah.
Killing time. And then I think they also talked about a Destiny 2 expansion, which had already been announced, but they actually showed a little bit.
They showed it as a story, a cinematic kind of story trailer. So, again,
just killing time. Really.
Just killing some time.
Filling time, yeah. But they finally come back. We get back into this new stadium. It's like a big, one of those sort of temporary inflatable type dome type situations. And there's a gentleman at the front
playing.
I don't know what the instrument is.
Yeah.
But it's like a traditional...
woodwind?
Yeah, it's like a traditional Japanese kind of instrument. And he was good.
Sound good?
Yeah, I seem to be doing... But again, it was sort of... I feel like he was killing time while everybody was finishing, getting into the stadium or whatever.
They're like, do I need to continue to play? Okay, and they're all in now.
But of course, then that was obvious. We were leading into Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep, which... Gameplay again. It was good.
It pretty much started with a small cutscene and right into the gameplay. Looked really good.
It did.
Very artistic sort of design. Very cinematographic. Like a good what's the word I'm looking for? Like like a good movie has good cinematography. That's what this reminded me of. Big open shots, things blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I mean the colors, the HDR looked really good on it.
Yeah.
I mean it looked good. I mean obviously it's a Sucker Punch. Guys that did Insomniac. I'm sorry, Infamous.
Did this again? Yeah, that did Infamous and Sly Cooper and all that.
Yeah, I mean it was neat. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
The combat looked good. I was getting sort of modern update of Onimusha type feel to the combat.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was grounded. It wasn't like a Devil May Cry where you're knocking people up in the air and doing 50-hit combos. I think the very first battle starts with a guy charging at him, and he just does a quick sidestep, pulls his sword. And it's like a one-hit kill kind of thing.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. He goes into a temple to rescue like a monk or something. You see like some slight... He's not like super acrobatic, but he can get up on the roof. He's got like I don't know what you would call it. Not a but sort of a grapple hook type thing where he can swing over and stuff. And then there was sort of like a duel. There was another character that was helping him at first, but then she kind of turned on your character.
Yes.
And there was like a one-on-one.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, it's all in the trailer, which we're probably showing to you right now. It was sort of a one-on-one duel.
Yeah,
and
which is neat.
That looked cool.
It did, especially when you start seeing, they're shooting the arrows.
Right, it's like
Mongolians.
the Mongol horde is approaching while you're fighting. All very like dramatic and cinematic and stuff.
And again, so very cool. Got to see gameplay. Get no release date.
No date, and really no other information. No one really came out and talked about the game or anything like that. So then we just moved on to the next thing. I also say we figured out exactly... We guessed, Alex guessed correctly, but there were these sort of weird... I don't know, they call them interstitials, like these little things in between some of the big games. They were like almost like segues to the next thing. But they were just these sort of odd characters playing a musical instrument, and it was like something funny would kind of happen.
Yes.
And then you move on to the next thing. And it felt really disjointed.
Correct.
As we found out at the end, after the press conference, they were talking to the developers. It was clips that were made entirely in Dreams, which is like a new game, sort of like Little Big Planet, where it's like it's a
from
game.
The same developers, Media Molecule.
But it's where you can create your own worlds and your own games.
And they didn't have a trailer for it. They was kind of thrown in.
Right.
Yet again, no release date. They mentioned it's going to be playable on the floor if you're at E3. Probably not watching this. If you're there, please don't go play. But yeah, it was odd. Still,
and
it was
the
odd.
only reason we knew is because we stuck around after the press conference, where they went back outside to that table with the talking heads or whatever you want to call them, and it was like they gave some more information there. So I was like, yeah, stick around for some of that. I don't know. Again, it was interesting, but it was just super disjointed, and they didn't say what it was during the conference.
Yeah, it was odd. So what was next?
But after Tsushima came, at first we didn't know what it was. It was this woman running around. doing battle with people. It seemed like she had telekinetic powers. Yeah. She was grabbing things. Looked like she may have slowed down time. At first
it was like Death Stranding. No.
Yeah, because it started real dark.
Is it Max Payne?
I was like, it looks like the guys who made Quantum Break. It reminded me of Quantum Break. So then at the end, it said Remedy.
It's Control.
And it was called Control. So Remedy are the guys who made Quantum Break, which I actually really liked. Yeah. That was an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this is probably multi-platform.
Yeah.
They didn't show it, but I'm assuming
I would guess. But it was called Control. It looked interesting. If it's made by Remedy, they've definitely got my attention. Yeah. And it did say 2019, but that was it. So it could be beginning and who knows. But it looked cool. But that was our first sort of, okay, they're not just showing us.
Correct. You're like, it's something.
They've got other things to show us. So that was nice.
So then what was up? What was after that?
So right after that, and again, this is... I guess it's in line with the whole press conference, but it started weird because it started in this like supply closet type thing and the lighting and everything. And I said, is that Resident Evil 2 remake? And then it was like, we were at the perspective of either like a bug or a rat or something. It turned out it was a rat. And you're crawling along the floor and you go up. And so I'm like, no, this isn't Resident Evil. This is like some VR game or something. And then you hear like a guy struggling with another character, and you're kind of seeing things from the rat's point of view. And then eventually you're on like a food crate storage. The thing falls, crushes the rat, and then you see that it's a cop being attacked by a zombie, and you're like, it is Resident Evil 2.
It is.
But it was just a weird way for that trailer to start.
I mean, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was neat.
Unless I haven't played all of the original, so I don't know if there's some... That's a tie-in, a callback to some.
Nah, I mean, there were a couple callbacks in the trailer, right? You see it the first time where he sees the zombies eating the guy, and they kind of look up. But yeah, I mean, it looked good. It looked like it was done in the style of like Resident Evil 4
or 5,
or 5, all 3D. I mean, it looked really, really good.
Yeah, so this is a full-on remake,
and it's coming out January 2019.
Yes, January 25th. So. Very, very beginning of next year. And it was Leon Kennedy who showed up. Yes. I didn't say that. Yep. So it's the young Leon Kennedy, rookie on the cop force. We did also see Claire
Redfield.
Not a whole... I don't think... We saw some gameplay. I think the gameplay was all Leon. Yeah. But, it's that over-the-shoulder. Looks good. There have been lots... They had said it was in the works, but we never seen anything. Correct. So it was nice to be able to see what the style was. Some people weren't sure if it was going to be like the old Resident Evil remake where it was still like sort of shot by shot. Sure. But it looked good.
It did.
So
it did.
It's Capcom, so we should be on Xbox probably.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's going to be multi-platform. Yeah. I don't see why that wouldn't.
Yeah. So then we went from there. It was... when it first appeared, they said it was made by the guys who did Rick and Morty, which is that cartoon show on Adult Swim. I like that show. I know there's a lot of hardcore fans out there. I'm not necessarily one of those, but I do like the show. It was some game called Trevor Saves the Universe. I say some game because they don't really show us much.
Correct.
It's obviously voiced by the guys who do Rick and Morty as well because it's got that exact same... I mean, basically it was Rick and Morty talking to each other.
Yes.
Except it wasn't Rick and Morty. It was two weird amorphous characters.
Yeah, it was different. I mean, and again, also probably one, I doubt that's multiplayer. Yeah. I mean, I doubt that's exclusive. I'm sure it's on both.
Right.
It was interesting.
It was a weird third person...
Didn't show a whole lot.
Yeah, it was real quick clips. It's probably have their humor, which will be good, but... Yeah, it was kind of odd. No dates or anything I don't think were given, so it was just teaser. Different. It was a teaser. It was an announcement, something we hadn't seen before. Then, since this is the third conference now that it's been at, we got, I guess you'd call it the obligatory Kingdom Hearts trailer, teaser. Yes. So no new worlds were shown off, but they did show
the Pirates world.
They showed Pirates of the Caribbean, which is new for this game. I think in the second game you went to the pirate. One of the other games you got to go to the Pirates world. And I know sometimes some people said it was weird because you had the cartoony characters of Kingdom Hearts and they went with a realistic style for like Jack Sparrow. Well, they've doubled down on that in this.
Yeah, it looks good though.
It looks really good. I'm like, I just want a Pirates game now.
I know.
And the detail, and they got all the actors' likenesses because it looks like Keira Knightley, Johnny Depp.
It does.
Even the lesser actors, it's them. So it looked really good. And then it went into the usual Kingdom Hearts montage. We saw different worlds, Monsters Inc., Frozen, etc., etc.
Again, it looks good.
A little bit of story hints here and there. So
they did announce the PS4 Pro Kingdom Hearts 3 edition.
Yeah, it ended with that.
And it is supposedly, and we'll have to parking lot this, maybe come back, but I think that's the one that's going to come with one that includes the 1.5, 2.5.
Yeah, they also
and
did
all of
announce the Kingdom
expansions.
Hearts collection, which will be the new game along
Plus the
with
older
all the
games.
old stuff that had been remastered, exclusive for PlayStation. So that collection you can only get, I guess, on PlayStation.
Correct. Which it's already been all released on PlayStation.
Right, you can get all of them already.
If you didn't buy them yet,
This is the way to do it.
Now you can.
Yeah. And that one we already knew the release date, January 29th, so like 4 days after Resident Evil. So
Correct.
You got to beat Resident Evil really fast, then play Kingdom Hearts. So then we went into the next big game, one of the big four that they're talking about, Death Stranding. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
saying this game, a lot of this stuff's going a little weird. Death Stranding, we already knew was weird, unique, different.
Yeah.
I don't know what other words to use.
I like unique's a good one.
It looked good. A lot of in-engine. We got actual gameplay finally, or at least something that's very close to gameplay.
There's a lot of climbing.
Yeah, it was like a lot of shots of Norman Reedus going around as the main character. It looks like he's exploring, he's finding things.
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't say a whole lot. The world looked very empty, so I'm hoping
There's more.
yeah, or events happen and things.
Correct. Well, and Kojima is very. I mean, he's been known. I mean, you think about Metal Gear Solid 2, where that made you think you're playing a snake for the game. So like he is. Sometimes he's very secretive. So there may be a whole lot more to it that we don't even see.
And I'm good with that.
Right, yeah.
I don't like everything being spoiled beforehand, so surprise me. And then
But still,
they introduced
no release date though.
no release date, no information on that either. Not even in 2019 or anything. They did introduce some new characters, 2 female characters.
Yes.
One who interacted with him, who we saw a little more of, and then one at the end. And it was kind of weird because the way they revealed her, it was almost like we should know who she is, and this is a big deal. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know who she is.
Oops.
So,
no offense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she's supposed to be a well-known actress, and it just went over our heads, but it did look good. We saw some of the interaction where he was going out, and it was sort of stealth type gameplay, avoiding these like shadow creatures. I don't know. They still, and again, this is another one. They just showed us some gameplay, and that was it. No date. Nobody came out and talked about the game. Nothing like that. So. Kojima was not there, although supposedly he's going to be on the floor at Sony's booth on like Wednesday or something, I think is what I saw. So maybe actual information.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, it was like I said, it wasn't bad. That was probably the one that we had the most of questions about, and we still have.
I mean, I was more curious for Tsushima personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Death Stranding, obviously everybody wants to know what that is. So.
Correct.
But after Death Stranding, we had another nice little teaser reveal. The information came up, and I think it was Neo 2.
Yes.
I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
But it was only maybe a 30-second teaser, if that, maybe not even that long. But it was Neo 2 has been announced, which is like a samurai style, almost Dark Souls-ish.
Very much, yeah.
The first one did really well, so obviously they've jumped on the second one.
And this one, though, so that's yet again, I will hand it to Microsoft. I know this is a Sony conference, but when they tell you it's exclusive, like I would assume this probably may be coming to all systems. They didn't say.
Yeah, they never said exclusive.
So
the first one was exclusive.
It was. So that again,
Right.
for all you, if you don't have a PlayStation and you're watching this, we'll see.
Right. Yeah. They never actually said exclusive on pretty much any of these other random games they showed.
Correct.
So, yeah, we'll see. And then from the Neo 2 teaser, we went into the last of the 4 big games, Spider-Man.
Yeah, which was good.
Yeah, it looked really good. A lot of action. It showed a bunch of villains. I think we saw Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, and then we saw Mr. Negative again. And all 5 of them implied that they were working for somebody. And the trailer basically ended with Spider-Man looking up, being like, "You," and then we didn't see who it was or whatever.
Correct.
So. Let everyone speculate. I'm sure.
Mary Jane.
It's me.
Okay.
It's Aunt May.
Yes, Aunt May.
But yes, the game looked good. We saw a lot of actual gameplay inside like a prison, with him taking out the prisoners as the different villains were trying to escape. So lots of explosions and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it looked good. Looked fun.
Yeah. Definitely
really
got a little Batman Arkham vibe.
It did.
Absolutely a good thing.
Yes.
And then we went from the Spider-Man big sort of gameplay trailer with the villains into the closing montage. They basically showed clips from everything we just saw,
And that was it.
And that was it. And it was kind of funny because then after the montage, brought up the big Sony, experience image. Everybody in the audience was still sitting there for a good 20, 30 seconds. Like, where's the final video? What are we missing?
Yes, we've been
trained that there's one more thing.
Yes, something, because you knew you were going to show those. We expected something.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they set the bar really low.
Mm-hmm. They tried to, they tried to tell us.
So
nobody wanted to believe. But, we got the 4 games we knew about. We got gameplay for all 4 of them, which is what I was hoping for. And then we got some bonuses. We got Resident Evil 2. We got
Neo.
A little more Kingdom Hearts. We got the Neo.
We got Control.
We got Control,
we did get some new.
Yeah, Control, Trover Saves the Universe was new. Neo 2 is a new game, not necessarily an IP. And was that it for actual new ones?
Pretty much, yeah.
So
it wasn't, like I said,
it was just kind of all over the place. The break in the beginning was weird. Just, like I said, cut out any momentum. Like, here we go. Okay, we're waiting.
It was not. So we talked about it yesterday. I mean, whether you love Microsoft or you don't like Microsoft, like their conference yesterday flowed very well, and it was like they set out what they meant to do. You may not agree with all the games they showed, but it was a good conference. This
high energy kept moving.
Yes, wasn't. I feel like it wasn't now. And I'm a little torn because we saw those 4 games, and I wanted to see gameplay on those, and those look good. However, you still have to give it to, and it's impossible at this point to not compare.
Yeah,
Microsoft gave you release dates. Yes, they were 2019. Okay, we could assume some of these were, but even last year's conference, they were starting to narrow it down, like spring 2018 or fall. They were starting to try to give you a time frame. The fact that we don't know what anything is makes me wonder, is The Last of Us 2 their March game like God of War was?
Right.
Or are these all really fall games? We don't know how far along these games are.
Yeah.
You knew Spider-Man's coming out September, but other than that, those they're 3 big games. Are those coming out next year? Or could those be 2020 games? We don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say.
And again, there were a lot of things that Microsoft definitely had a lot more third party. When you think of some of the heavy hitters, the Fallout, they had the Cyberpunk 2077,
Devil May Cry
5. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had. Well, they also had the FromSoft Sekiro.
Yeah.
They had some heavy hitters there that were pretty impressive. So it's going to be interesting.
And they had a lot more indies too.
They did.
They didn't show a whole lot of that here.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. I liked Microsoft's. I know we're kind of doing a comparison thing, but basically, I liked Microsoft's format where they would say world exclusive, so you knew it was brand new, or they would say exclusive to them.
Correct.
Or they would say console launch exclusives. Okay, they're getting it first. Or
correct.
They didn't really do any of that with Sony, so we're sitting here. Is it exclusive? Is it coming? Is it multi-platform? That sort of thing. We don't know.
Well, and what's interesting is they noticed that, and this is, I think, kind of a miss, is that after the show, they kind of detailed their what they're going to be doing for the next 2 days.
Right.
And Tuesday and Wednesday are all these games. We talked about Soul Calibur 6 that we wanted to see. That they even said at one point one was a unnamed
Square Enix game. So does that mean it's something we've seen, or Square Enix hasn't told them, or it's going to be a reveal and we'll have to?
There's certain things that there are all these titles that they still showed that they didn't show at the conference, and normally that's kind of where they're unveiled. Right. So it was really weird.
It was kind of odd because after the end of the conference, it went back outside to those the people at the desk.
Yeah.
And they revealed a new VR game by From Software.
Yes.
They didn't really. They themselves at the table said, "We don't have a lot to show. We don't know exactly what kind of game it is yet." But it was kind of funny that they're showing it. But it was called. It was like a French name, so I'm going to screw it up. It was like Desine or something like that. There were a lot of accent marks in it and stuff.
Don't quote us on that.
And it kind of looked borderline. Maybe it's a horror game.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. There's definitely little kids involved, which either that means it's going to be super emotional or super scary.
Or a little of both.
And then they went into an actual like full-on gameplay of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not just in this prison level that was all cinematic, but like they showed the open world swinging around
Like
the
guy
city.
playing it.
Yeah, he was literally playing it at the desk, and you could see him swinging around, coming across like a group of guys, taking them out off on a rooftop. Just some, some cool stuff that was, worth sticking around for, I think. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, it was we'll have to get to ratings, but for me, what I'm more disappointed in is what we didn't see. Like, still no Final Fantasy VII remake.
Right.
They didn't mention, Dreams, like, is that game coming out?
They at the very end, after the Spider-Man footage, that's when they had the Dreams people on stage or at their desk for a little bit, and they mostly just talked about those little vignette things during the concert. They didn't talk. Correct. They did show a little gameplay from it, actual gameplay, but no dates or anything. Yeah.
So and that was my question kind of going into it is, not that they have this huge plan, and sometimes you're starting to see more and more of it. Microsoft did it with Battletoads, Nintendo did it last year with Metroid Prime 4.
Just a little tease, let us know
hey,
it's
we
there.
have something else coming. Like, we understand it may not be, you're looking at a 2020, 2021. What makes me wonder, and we'll see, because, it's you hope Sony doesn't. They've kind of done it before, kind of started to rest on their laurels.
Yeah, and
it's like, if you don't think Microsoft's like bringing their A game, they kind of proved it in that conference. If the three games other than Spider-Man, right? Because Spider-Man comes out this year,
September.
Yeah. If those other three games come out next year, that's a pretty good 2019, I would say. If they don't, and we don't know if anything else is coming out, it really starts to make you wonder, like, what are they doing?
Right.
Is there something else that's going on?
Yeah, because even like the montage type stuff, it's pretty much just what we saw there.
It was.
Sometimes they'll throw other things they didn't talk about in there. I didn't see any of that. So, and you talked about other games we disappointed. Like, no one's talked about the new Mortal Kombat, which is just rumored but strong.
Correct.
Rumors. I think even Ed Boon himself has hinted at it.
Yes.
But we haven't seen that anywhere. The new Rocksteady game.
Correct. Again, if they were going to be doing like a Justice League was kind of the rumor, or a Superman. Like, nothing. These were perfect times to kind of showcase some of this stuff, and still nothing. So it's very interesting. Of course, what's funny, those two games you mentioned are both Warner Brother games.
Yes, that's true. So it could be Warner Brothers doing their own thing at some point. But
exactly. But, so if you had to give it a rank, we said 1 to 10. So we said what, so for
Microsoft, I gave it an 8.
You gave it an 8.
And I think you guys gave it a 7 or
so
7.5.
I'd say if we're can do a half, I'd say 7.5.
Okay.
So that said, and of course I gave EA's a 5. So
EA's, and I was there with you. Yeah.
So if we're looking at now Sony's 1 to 10, what do you say?
Man, it was like this for me,
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, I want to say a 7 because the gameplay that we saw, like the Resident Evil 2 reveal, that was all really good. The conference itself, though, was so kind of odd and awkward. And normally they're awkward because developers come on stage and they don't interact well. That it was just put together weird.
Yes.
Since we're doing points, I'm actually I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say a 7.
Okay. So. Yeah, okay, so here I go. So this is the problem, because we talked about this. I think that the games they showed were very good.
Yeah.
And I actually think they showed more content for their exclusive games than even Microsoft did.
Yeah.
But all in all, I give it a 6.
Okay.
So, that shows they were good, but the only reason that conference was redeemable was really because of those 4 games plus, I would say, the 3.
Yeah.
The 3.
So if we hadn't seen gameplay for one of those, I would absolutely give it a 6. But we got to see gameplay for all 4,
which is good.
Yeah,
but it does. It's funny, and I guess we're spoiled, right? So we're so spoiled to seeing, especially from Sony, the last couple of years, just games after games after games, and Microsoft's been doing that pretty well, and but they did it this year for sure, and it's like, I don't know why. It makes you wonder. Did Sony just not have the games to show? Or are they saving these announcements? Is there something more to it? Because right now it makes you go, they've even said, like, the next generation, they're not looking at throwing a PS5 or something like that for at least probably
like a couple years,
I think like 2021. So I'm going, well, you should still be having good games for at least the next 3 years.
Right.
Well, those 3 games aren't going to do it. So
we'll have to see. And we haven't really talked about the Ubisoft or Bethesda conferences or the Square Enix conference.
Correct. That'll be a separate video, so we'll make sure.
Yeah, we'll do that as probably one of our normal podcasts, like next week or something. Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, there's been a lot A lot of stuff's dropping. Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good E3. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say Bethesda and Ubisoft's conference are also really good. Bethesda's had some awkwardness stuff in it, and it went really long. And then Ubisoft, like I said in our preview, presented everything like we thought they would, but they showed a lot of good stuff, a lot of gameplay and things. So
that's it for today.
Yeah, I think that's it. So, let us know what you thought of the Sony press conference. Yeah. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Are you somewhere in between? So stay with us because we will, like I said, cover
more. We got Nintendo tomorrow.
Tomorrow. We'll sum up E3 in a future podcast for sure. That'll do it for today.
That's right.
So that was fun. It was interesting conference.
It was definitely unique.
Yes. So, all right, everyone. E3's not over yet, so get some sleep.
Stay tuned.
Yes. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.